So to kick things off, we wanted to bring on the mighty eagle, Peter Vesterbacka, and have him talk about this game you might have heard of, Angry Birds, and tell you guys about IP and how to drive a valuable IP and make it work for you. So without further ado, we want to kick off and hand it over to the mighty eagle.
Yeah, so that's the mighty eagle in the game. So I thought I'll use that as an example of what we're doing. And that actually captures a lot of the different areas that we kind of like expanded Angry Birds into. So obvious animation. So we bought animation studio called Combo. So they made all of our little videos that have been viewed. I think it's about 140 million times now. So we have more views for our videos than most of the Hollywood studios. So it just shows what kind of distribution power you can build with just a little mobile game. But yeah, so if you look at kind of like Angry Birds, we're now kind of like a year and a half into the Angry Birds story. So the game launched in December 2009. And first 12 months we managed to hit 50 million downloads. So that took us 12 months. So that was kind of like this 11th of December that we hit that. So that's also kind of like the Angry Birds Day. So we're going to celebrate that again this year. But anyway, so in December we hit 50 million. And then in January, 75. And then we hit 100 million in March. And 200 million in May. And right now we're way over 250 million downloads. And that's across all platforms. So of course the biggest one's iOS and Android, but we have had a strategy with Angry Birds that we really want to put it on all the screens. So we want to be everywhere. And okay, right now you can play Angry Birds, of course, on all the smartphones, even Windows Phone 7 nowadays. And then we also put Angry Birds on the web together with Google, so you can play it in your browser. So not only in Chrome, you can play it on Firefox, IE9, Safari, you name it. We have about 30 million people that are playing the game now online in the browser. And we're going to do a bit more on that side in the not too distant future, so that there's some big news coming there. But yeah, so if you look at the numbers, so we have a lot of downloads, and that has really helped us make the brand pretty pervasive. So a lot of people play the game, a lot of people know about Angry Birds, and we're not stopping at kind of like the current platforms. So today we're starting to ship the new Roku box together with Roku, so that comes with Angry Birds pre-installed. So you buy the new Roku box, plug it into your HD TV, and you have Angry Birds in your living room. And it's something that we're very excited about because it's really a very, very easy way to buy a box, plug it in, play the game. And as a side, with Roku you also get some video content, so like Netflix and what have you. So it's a nice bonus, and it also comes with its own Angry Birds channel. So you'll see a bunch of animations and stuff happening on big screens everywhere. So that's something that we're very, very excited about as well. Then just to kind of bore you with some of the numbers. So we have a lot of downloads, but of course downloads are just that. So that doesn't really tell you anything about the engagement and what's actually happening. So people are playing Angry Birds, so something like 300 million minutes a day now. So it's quite a bit. There's actually an article now in Forbes not too long ago, and they had this section about us being almost famous, because of course we're only being played for 2 hours a month, and people in the US are watching TV for 158.8 hours. So of course we're still dwarfed by TV, but we're working on it. So and that's all of TV. So it's an interesting comparison. And so on the numbers side, so people really play the game a lot. So we have big engagement. And if you look at the numbers, the number of monthly active users is now at 120 million. So it's a pretty big number, and still not quite at the Singa level, but we're growing much faster. So we should get there in a couple of months. But okay, that's all on the game side, and that's we're very happy with that. But we are not a games company. So if you look at what we're doing now around Angry Birds, we're really building that into a next generation entertainment franchise. And that's why we acquired Combo, the animation studio, the animation that you saw. So we're doing a lot more in that area. And we're building a lot more of these short animations. We have the distribution power, so we can get them out there. We don't need to work with the broadcasters. I mean, we can do that as well, but we can distribute directly through our game and get tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people watching that. So that's one thing that we're doing. But again, it actually all comes back to this, that it's all about our fans and our brand. So everything we do revolves around those two things. And if you look at what we've done with the animations, it's more about the Angry Birds story for our fans. So we're gonna basically slowly show and expose more of the Angry Birds story. So make the engagement even deeper, and more detail. So you'll learn more about the birds and the pigs, and why the birds are so angry, and all of that. So that's one thing that we're doing there. Then okay, it turns out that a lot of the the skills are very similar to what we've been doing anyway. I mean, you have the storytelling, you have the making an animation is not that different from making a game. Some of the same tools and all of that. So we can leverage a lot of the assets, and we can get out very, very fast. Then another thing that we've been very happy with, again, building around the brand, we have done quite a bit around toys and merchandising. So right now we've sold about 1 million toys every month. So we launched end of last year, and we've been shipping 1 million toys every month. So again, okay, if you talk to the real toy companies, like the Mattels and Hasbros of the world, okay, our volumes are probably not like anything to write home about. But for us, it's tiny company from tiny country. It's good business. So we're very happy with that. And again, we're only getting started on that side. So on the merchandising side, we started with a more traditional model where we license our IP to people who make toys. You know, Mattel, who made the board game, that's also sold out, by the way. So we've been very happy with that side as well. But yeah, so we started with that kind of model, but now we're moving more and more to a model where we actually design the physical products ourselves, and then we're sourcing them in China, other places. So moving to a more integrated model where we actually really control the design and the quality much better than just through kind of traditional licensing deals. So you can see, expect to see some very, let's say, different and very exciting products in the physical space going forward as well. So that's one area that we, year ago we didn't know anything about the toy business, about merchandising, but again, we're learning fast. And it turns out that it's not rocket science. So again, you know, if you have big IP, then you definitely should look at these areas. There's no reason not to do that. And again, it's not about the game, it's about building out the brand. And that's something that, again, we don't view ourselves, as I said, as a game company, but really building next generation entertainment franchise. And that's really kind of like the big thing for us. So okay, toys, other merchandise, that's something that we've been very happy with. Sold a few hoodies and t-shirts as well, so you can get these at angrybirdstees.com, so you know, go and check it out. So yeah, there's a reason for everything. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, that's something that we've learned, and we're getting better every day. And one reason why we're now, so far we've had all our people in Helsinki in Finland. We're now a bit over 130 people. So okay, last year we were 12. So you know, it's at least percentage-wise, it's good growth, but we're still a pretty small operation. But one thing, if you look at that's okay, we really wanted to try to manage the growth and everything by keeping everybody in the same place. But now with the growing kind of like merchandising business and all of that, we are setting up our second office in Shanghai. So we hired the first local people there and setting up the operation. That's actually not to do, you know, like cheap development or any of that, but it's actually because China is our second largest market already, right after the US, fastest growing. So I mean, if you looked at the Apple numbers that they announced, they said a big part of their growth is actually now coming from China, and we see exactly the same. Huge growth, iOS, Android, the web version, everything. It's really China is really happening. So basically, what we are doing now, we're putting people in place there, of course, to do you know, the marketing, business development. But we really want to be more Chinese than the Chinese companies. So you can expect to see Chinese versions of our games very soon. Actually announcing the first ones next week at China Joy, which is like the E3 of China. But again, to really be you know, more Chinese than the Chinese companies, we need to be there. And that's actually why we're setting up our operation in Shanghai. And one big part of that is, again, to be close to where the toys and physical products are made. So doing the design, doing the sourcing locally in China, and then shipping globally, online and through our retail channels. And then we're setting up a you know, flagship store or two in China as well. So that's something that have to do. We're in the top 3 most copied brands in China already. So it's Disney, Hello Kitty, and us. So you walk into any store in China, you'll see copies of various Disney products, tons of Hello Kitty copies, and a lot of copies of various Angry Birds toys and other merchandise. And that's the way it goes in China. So you can't really fight that any other way, but you have to, or any other way than by making better products than the copies. And that's one thing that we're doing. So we're building what we call Angry Birds magic into all our toys, all our products. So that's something that we're doing around NFC. So a lot of the other players out there are using NFC for, let's say, exciting things like payments. Okay, we'll do that later, but right now we're using NFC as one example to put some magic into our toys, make them more interactive, more valuable. And again, our toys will offer things like unlocking new features in our games that the copies don't offer. So instead of trying to fight the piracy by, you know, sending our lawyers, and we don't have like a lot of lawyers to send around like Disney and these guys, So we're trying to build better products, offering our fans better value. And again, it's not the solution to kind of like end piracy or any of that, but it will help. So that's one reason why we're now investing a lot in building our China operation. And it's a big market, as I said, so it's really, really important. Then another area that we're expanding into, so we've been very successful on the tablets. So of course, iPad leading the pack there, but we've been very happy with our sales on the Nook, so the Barnes & Noble Nook e-reader. We've been doing very well there. And then also very happy with our collaboration with Amazon, and they have this thing called a Kindle, so that seems to be doing pretty well, and there might be something happening on that front in the future as well. So again, we looked at that market, and there's a lot of people making books, so we talked to a bunch of the book publishers, and very quickly realized that okay, the book business is not very different from the app business, the games business. So you have publishers, and you have like a lot of kind of like legacy infrastructure that is in between you and the fans, the readers of the books. So then we actually hired two of these guys from the book publishing industry. We started a new business unit called Rovio Books, and our first book is coming out end of August. So both as a physical, like paper book, traditional model, and then it's also going to be available on all the tablets. So on the iPad, on the Nook, on the Kindle, on all of those. And the first book is a cookbook, of course. So it's and it's not about bacon or anything like that. It's actually the Bad Piggy's secret egg recipes. So a lot of ways how to kind of like prepare eggs, and that's coming out in August. And that's going to be in Barnes & Noble. It's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be in as an iBook on the iPad. And again, using the fact that we have very powerful brand, and we have a lot of fans, we have distribution power. So it's not that different to distribute books from kind of like comparing to apps. So it's again digital product. We're actually going to build a book as an app. So the books will be very, very interactive, and let's say the digital version will be much better than the paper version. But we'll sell the digital version for a lot less. So it's interesting model there. And we don't have a problem selling our books for 99 cents if we need to. So again, because we don't need to talk to publishers or any of that, we can distribute ourselves. So it's again very interesting area, and we have several books coming this year already. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that works. But so far seems like it's very similar to the app business. So a couple of months we'll be able to share like what we learned about the book business. But again, if you have a powerful brand, then again like look into the book business. It's and as we all know, the tablet market is growing like crazy. So there's some very interesting opportunities there. So yeah, so just recap. So yes, we're making games. Yes, we're making animations. We might even make the full feature-length movie. So yeah, I forgot to mention that we brought on board David Maisel. So David is the guy who did Iron Man, and he actually was chairman of Marvel. So he knows a thing or two about how to make like cool movies. So David is now working with us on kind of like the movie and animation side. Merchandising, so been there, done that, growing very nicely. There's going to be a lot more happening in that space. And then books. So a lot of things kind of like happening on multiple fronts. And again, it's all about the fans and the brand. And then if you look at, okay, so what are we trying to do with Angry Birds? And we always have these, who do these guys think they are? So they made one game and, like got lucky. Okay, actually we made 51 games before Angry Birds, so we like, not exactly like an overnight success story. But anyway, so we know how difficult it is to create a hit game, and how difficult it is to create kind of like a hit brand. So what we are doing now, we're really going all in with Angry Birds. So there will be more Angry Birds games. There will be a lot more like Angry Birds products all kinds of forms and shapes. So we're really betting everything on Angry Birds. And we always then get asked, but okay, but so what are you going to do next? Because, I mean, it can't, like, last forever. And of course, if you can, like, go into this business with that kind of attitude that, yeah, like, hey, we got lucky, we made a game, it was a nice hit, let's do the next one. And that's kind of like what's typically been happening in the games business, that you kind of like get into this, like, you buy into your own bullshit, so you think that you can make, hit after hit. And very few companies have been able to do that. You have a hit game, and then you think that it's easy to make the next one. We know that it's not easy. So we're going to make Angry Birds much bigger than what it is today. And our kind of like longer-term plan and vision is that we want to be the first entertainment brand with 1 billion fans. So not 1 billion downloads, but 1 billion fans. And that's going to take us 2-3 years to do. So we have a lot of work. We're only getting started. So it's not. If you look at the team in Helsinki, so when we hit 100 million downloads, okay, that was kind of like a big milestone for us. So we had a few glasses of champagne, and then like, okay, said some things, and then 5 minutes later, everybody back to work. Then when we hit 200 million, didn't even register. So everybody is so focused now on the 1 billion fans. So everything we do right now is all about getting more fans and building better games, better products to do that. And it's actually it's very interesting to see that really focused on that. So we don't feel that we achieved actually that much yet. So huge ambition, very hungry team. So you can expect to see quite a few more things around Angry Birds. Then some of the things that are kind of like not that visible that we're building in the background. So one thing that I wanted to highlight was Angry Birds Magic that I kind of like briefly touched on already. So Angry Birds Magic is something that we're building into all our games, all our products, all our toys. So we started by building actually NFC capability into the game. So now we have the first kind of like deal that we did was that we agreed with Nokia that all Nokia NFC phones come with Angry Birds pre-installed. So you have Angry Birds Magic on every Nokia NFC device. And we're now going to do the same on the Android side and on kind of like all the other platforms that will have NFC support. So the plan there is to be on every NFC device. And you can use NFC to unlock new levels and unlock new features in the game. So for example, right now, if you happen to have, let's say, a Nokia NFC device or Samsung Galaxy S2, which has NFC, just bringing the devices together, you can unlock new cool features in the game. Or you can then walk into a Barnes & Noble store, there's an Angry Birds Magic sticker on the door, you can unlock new content that way. And talking about Barnes & Noble, we also launched something that we call Angry Birds Magic Places together with Barnes & Noble a couple of weeks ago. So if you walk into a Barnes & Noble store here in the US, so any of the 700 or so stores that they have, you have the Mighty Eagle available for free while you're at the store. So it's, again, you have special features available at these Magic Places. And as a user, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to check in, you don't have to do anything. You just walk into Barnes & Noble, play the game, realize that there's, by magic, there are new features available in the game. Okay, and why is this important? Okay, it's getting into the same areas, like the Foursquares, the Goalas, Facebook Places. But the user doesn't have to do any of, the checking in. How many here actually are checked into one of these applications? So it's like 5 people. So it's like mainstream, even in this crowd. How many play Angry Birds? How many are playing Angry Birds right now? And it's okay, so we don't mind. But anyway, so the example here is that a lot more people play Angry Birds than check into various places. And now we've added Angry Birds Magic Places. So you might be participating in some magic without knowing it. We could have defined this place to be a magic place. Okay, we didn't have the time, but we could have. So just based on like location. And then we could have made some special features available just today for this event, for this space. So making this place a magic place. So that's one thing that we're working on. And again, yes, it's just a game, but what we're building is much bigger Angry Birds experience. And our kind of like approach is always to do things like this, so it's like magic. As a user, you don't have to do anything. It's just there automatically. Just walk into Barnes & Noble, special features. Walk in here, magic happens. So that's one thing that we're working on. And part of the magic concept, as I said, building new features into our toys, fighting piracy by doing that. So as an example of kind of like stuff that we are doing to bring new experience to our fans, and same kind of like area we're also working on adding a lot of social features to the current game. And as we kind of like said before, we're also coming out with a completely new social game. And that's going to be available reasonably soon. And it's going to be on all the social, plugged into all the social graphs, Facebook and some of the others that are out there. Yeah, but anyway, so I could talk for days. So we're doing a lot of things, but actually it's a lot more fun to get a bit of like dialogue going. So anybody have any questions or comments? Yes. Do we have mics?
Tim Merrill, DigiCapital, we're a games investment bank. We believe that the next Pixar will come out of games. Is that part of how you see your future?
Yeah, I mean, we bought Combo, the animation studio, for a reason. But again, we're not, let's say, that full of ourselves yet that we're like, yeah, we're going to be the next Pixar. But of course, I mean, we're building animation studio that will be world class. I mean, Pixar is really, like, that's as good as it gets. And I mean, but one thing also didn't mention too much about what we're doing, kind of like working together with other brands. So we did, of course, a very successful, and that's actually still happening, so a collaboration with 20th Century Fox. So we built Angry Birds Rio. And important thing there, it's Angry Birds Rio, not Rio Angry Birds. So again, the brand is the most important thing for us after our fans. So that's a good example of kind of like how we work together with some of the big guys. And really nice thing about the Rio project, we work very closely with Blue Sky Studios. So they are the guys who made, Rio the movie, obviously, and I think Rio is probably still the top grossing, it was the biggest box office hit on the animation side. I think Cars 2 hasn't beaten Rio yet, and that's kind of like interesting. But anyway, so Pixar movie. So but anyway, so Blue Sky, they did Ice Age, they did Rio. We worked very closely with them on making Angry Birds Rio, and I think Angry Birds Rio is one of the most successful collaborations between games and movie. So we have way over 50 million downloads for Angry Birds Rio. And it's actually interesting when we started working with the Fox guys, and then we said, okay, we're going to do 50 million downloads. And they were like, yeah, right. And it happened. We launched it in March, and we passed 50 million some weeks ago. So now, but I think it's very interesting because for us, we learned so much from working together with Blue Sky, with the Fox guys. So that's also one reason why we then decided that, okay, it's not easy to make something like that. To make a full feature-length, animated movie takes 2-3 years. So it's not like a game that like a couple of months you're done. So that's and again, so we realized the challenge, and that's also why we started working with David Maisel that I mentioned. So again, we're bringing on board people that know that space. So again, we don't think we know everything about everything. So we really need to work with the best people on the planet. And of course, David did Iron Man, And again, if you look at then the various superhero movies, it's Marvel has done some of the best ones out there, and David was kind of like running that. So again, we think that we can do stuff. Might not be like the next Pixar, but again, nobody will be the next Pixar. I think that it's a bit like. And then like also to set record straight, we're not going to be the next Disney either. So that's yeah.
2 quick questions. Are you planning on doing, let's say, like a AAA console title? Taking it up a level, going full 3D, for example, and putting it on Xbox or Sony? And the second thing is, what about derivative games where you use the characters in slightly different game genres, so to speak?
Yeah. So first question, yes. And hopefully this year. So we're working on PlayStation and Xbox, so that's definitely happening. And then and of course, I mean, when we look at the console platform and any platform that we do, I mean, like I mentioned the Roku, launch and what we're doing there. I mean, we always then try to make the game the best it can be on any given platform, and especially on the console side. Okay, we have had kind of like this PSP mini kind of like game out there, and it looks like crap on the PlayStation 3. So we're actually, you can play it, but it's not like amazing. And we are making that better. So we're not happy with like the experience on like a full HD big TV. So like the Roku version that we're launching looks much better. So what we're now working on the console side is getting the graphics will be much better, and it will be more of a AAA kind of experience. So definitely working on that. And what was the second part? Yeah, okay, yeah. So taking the character, yeah. So of course, right now when you look at Angry Birds, so it's all about the characters, about the birds, pigs, everything. So we are working on several new titles with totally different gameplay. So just like Mario drives a car and it becomes Mario Kart. Mario flies out to space, becomes Super Mario Galaxy. So who knows where our birds will go. But they will go places. They already went to Rio, so
Hello. You mentioned kind of a cool way to engage customers through geolocation and stuff like that. I assume that's part of what you mean by being a next generation entertainment franchise. I just was hoping you could enlighten or expand on that a little bit more. What does that mean to you? What is that definition?
So for us, very, very important part of that is actually, and I already mentioned that the most important thing to us, the fans, and the engagement with the fans. And for us, we can communicate with our fans every day through our games, also through Facebook, through Twitter, like all of those, tools. And we are very serious about, replying to every tweet, every email. Okay, maybe not quite there with like replying to every comment on Facebook, but get a lot of those, but we're trying. So really having a constant dialogue with the fans. And we're right now we're just about to launch a big kind of like okay, I wouldn't call it survey. It's more of like an interactive experience where we're asking our fans about the birds, about the characters, and really engaging in a much richer dialogue. And I think that this is something that, of course, I mean, you ask any of the existing players, like any Hollywood studio or anybody in entertainment, that of course they're, it's about the fans. But how many of these players actually have any kind of dialogue with their fans? You do movie, X, and then you do the sequel, and then you like do 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And every single time you have to kind of like redo the whole thing. You spend 100 million on marketing to re-engage with the fans. So it's a very inefficient way to build brand. It costs a lot of money. I mean, we didn't have 100 million to build the Angry Birds brand. And if we had, we'd probably then would made a movie and like then the second one and all of that. But it's I think that's a very inefficient way to build brands. So that's also like totally agree with the first comment that the next okay, Pixar. But I think that also if you look at, I mean, Pixar is great at building the movies, the characters, all of that. But if you look at then the engagement with fans on a daily basis, non-existent. So I think that for us, then we're talking about like the next generation entertainment franchise for the lack of a kind of like a better description. But to us, what that means is really that we build something where we work very, very closely with our fans. And then, so it's fans and brand. And again, being, simple people from Finland, it's, works for us. So trying to keep it not so complicated.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you think the difference, the long-term the franchise and the short-term franchise? I mean, because generally in Japan, the character, the booming can keep only 3 years. It's difficult to keep beyond the 3 years. I guess you mean that you focus on the long-term the character franchise.
Yeah.
How analyze characters?
So definitely long-term. And I don't know where the 3-year rule comes from, but we kind of like don't buy into that. So and if there is like a 3-year rule, we'll break it. So we want to make Angry Birds a permanent part of pop culture. And this is actually very interesting because we always get this. We've talked to a lot of the big guys in Hollywood, all the studios, all that, and it's always, but hey, what if you're not #1 in 4 years? And it's like, hey, why wouldn't we? So we're really building something that is sustainable. So it's not like, okay, we're building something that just built to flip. Really something we want to make Angry Birds a permanent part of pop culture. That's what we're doing. We've said no to so many people who wanted to do all kinds of weird things with our brand. So again, I use the example, it's Angry Birds Rio, not Rio Angry Birds. We call the shots. It's very, very important. Yeah, we would never go into kind of like a partnership. First of all, it has to be a partnership. It has to be a win-win. But also for us, it's very, very important that we call the shots on the experience. That's something that we will not give up. And then, like again, the 3-year rule and all of that. I mean, there is this cat character, from Japan, been around since like the 70s, Hello Kitty. So, you can break the rules even in Japan. So, it's possible. And then Pokemon, been around for quite a while. So I think that it's again, there's no reason why not. And, then there's this, little mouse character, this company in California. They built like a pretty significant business around that. And they started with, like a little black and white cartoon. So I think that, again, we're just using the new tools of the trade. So, like when Disney started, they couldn't make games. Okay, and then, let's not even go there. But so they did what they knew how to do, so they made cartoons. And they built a brand. And, Mickey Mouse is like pretty big. So again, what we are doing is just using the tools that we have available and that we know. And we know how to make games. We made 51 games before Angry Birds, and so we made a lot of different games. And that's kind of like the business we know. And then we're learning about how to build a brand. And then just, talking to fans. I mean, it's just like, I think it's polite when, like somebody talks to you, you talk back. It can't be like a one-way thing. I mean, of course it can, but then, people expect to be engaged and involved nowadays. So that's something that, again, it's not like rocket science. Thanks.
Hi. You said that the United States is your largest market and
Yes.
China is second, and you're opening up your second office in Shanghai.
Yes.
What about U.S. office? You have a lot of partners and a lot of people want to work for you. Any plan?
We don't have any concrete. Again, it's not about like the physical office and all that. So far, okay, I'm here personally like every other week, so you know, I don't live here, but you know, like sometimes it feels like it. Yeah, so far that's been enough. And okay, David Maisel, he's based in LA, and Vibe in red T-shirt is actually based here in Seattle. And we're adding some other people here in the US as well. But then if you look at kind of like the physical offices, the only ones that we have right now, Helsinki, and then setting up Shanghai. And I think that the reason why we're doing that is that we think we have to do a lot more to really kind of like fulfill our vision for China. So in China, we want to be the leading Chinese entertainment brand next year. So that's like huge like ambition. But then to do that, we need to do a lot more than we're doing right now. So again, and it's a huge market, and it's also a different market. So said before, we want to be more Chinese than Chinese companies. So we have no illusion about, you know, like again, you know, we're Rovio, this, you know, like tiny company from tiny country, and then we go to China and we like change it. So we have to kind of like, we have to adapt to the market. And again, you know, of course, we also want to be more American than apple pie. So, you know, like that's, you have to kind of like then, you have to adapt. And that's one of the reasons why we're setting up the office in Shanghai, bringing on board. I mean, now we already have, we've hired the first Chinese designers to work on the title that we're announcing next week. So again, and that's like the first Chinese focused product, if you will. Yeah.
Hi, Peter. This is Ravi from Nokia.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you will be having a localized version of Angry Birds in China. Do you have any plans to have Angry Birds localized in India with a Bollywood background music? With India being a country of 1 billion people.
Yeah, we've been thinking about this Angry Birds version where basically it's exactly like the current game, but then all of a sudden everything stops and you know, like music plays and everybody starts dancing. But yeah, so yeah, we've been thinking about that, and we actually have talked to the Bollywood guys about Bollywood kind of like tunes. So again, we're not like a massive, you know, organization. So we don't have enough resources to do everything we want to do. So then we had to prioritize, and right now, so then now we're focused on making, let's say, doing better in China. But India, and actually I had a conversation about India this morning. So we're definitely looking at what we can do in India. And it's if you look at kind of like we kind of got lucky with Angry Birds Rio, because you know, Rio, Brazil, now we have a lot of fans there, and that was not we didn't plan it that way, but it was just like a very nice side effect that now we have a very fast-growing following in Latin America, and especially in Brazil. And again, that's how we want to do things, and it's one of these things that, of course, right now, kind of like the core is very universal. So it's like everybody playing Angry Birds. It's from like what the Hollywood guys would call a 4-quadrant title. You know, boys and girls, men and women, all ages. So it's like from small kids to grandparents. And then it's also everywhere. So #1 in China, we're #1 in India. Even like with the current like universal product, if you will. But then there's no reason not to make special, you know, customized versions for any of the markets. So if you make a movie, of course, you know, Pixar can't make, you know, like let's make the India version, China version, and all of that, because movies are a bit less flexible. But again, when we make interactive entertainment products like games, there's no reason why we wouldn't do this kind of customization and really listening to our fans in India, China, anywhere. So okay, short answer, yes, but not yet. Actually, we can't hear. Yeah. I mean, we're not like the experts or anything. I mean, like we're learning as we go. But of course, I mean, we learned hopefully something from this. And so the question was really about like when to branch out. And I would say that first of all, you have to do your own thing. So it's always. And people have been telling us that, hey, hey, you should focus on making games, toys, merchandising, you don't go there, you have to be focused, and all of that. And I think that again, what we've learned is that if we would have listened to all the advice that we got, I mean, we got a lot of advice from Hollywood that, oh, you have this once in a lifetime movie deal on the table, it's hundreds of millions, and these don't come along. You should just jump on it. And we still said no, because it was like a really, really crap deal financially. Yeah, sure. I mean, and it's all these cliches of we'll make you famous. Don't listen to that. It's one of these things that don't. You will get so much advice, and yeah, we are happy to give advice, but it's no guarantee that it's right advice. So you have to do what you feel is right for you. And I think that is, don't worry about doing the wrong thing, going against conventional wisdom. Because if we would have just done what we're supposed to do, wouldn't be here. I mean, when we said, okay, we're going to have 100 million downloads, and it's like, yeah, right. Who do you think you are? But I don't think that it's not necessarily timing for the branching out. I don't think that it's necessarily the number of downloads. But I think that it's more about when you have a and you have to go a bit like gut feeling there. But when you have enough engagement, so the fans that, let's say, of course now when you look at Angry Birds and the characters, so we have a lot of people who love the birds, love to hate the pigs, and very early, I mean, actually very early in the development, we realized that that's actually why we built Angry Birds, was that the team fell in love with the characters. The gameplay was very different, but then, hey, we have to build a game around this. So I think that so we already then knew that there was this kind of potential. And I think that it's very difficult to say when. But and also, it's not actually on the number of downloads. Take Tetris. Even if you have 1 billion downloads, there's not going to be amazing engagement with the blue brick, for a lot of people. It's just doesn't work that way. So it's also depends on if your game is, like Tetris, or if it's about characters. So that's and maybe also one thing here that there's nothing wrong, obviously, with Tetris. I mean, it's a great game. It's like, amazing. But again, it's not built for necessarily for selling a lot of physical bricks or anything like that. So I think that it's more about then what you're building, what kind of if you're looking at building a brand, an entertainment franchise, or just a great game, and both are fine. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm not. I would never advise everybody here that, oh, hey, you should do what we are doing. It's again, it's something that we think is right for us, and we're trying to build an entertainment franchise. But then, it's perfectly okay to just, build a lot of good games. So it's very tough to give good advice on that.
Hi, I was wondering if you're familiar with Fortress 2 and if you had any plans for kind of like online MMO type game using Angry Birds?
We have plans for a lot of things, but we have no concrete plans on that yet. But again, let's say that kind of maybe the answer to that, and then kind of like what kind of games and what kind of experience we're working on. So we are looking at kind of like all game types and genres. So we're not kind of like limiting that, but again. Small team, we can't do everything, so we try to very carefully then pick the new games, new experience that we're doing. But we don't see any reason why we couldn't make, you know, an Angry Birds MMO or something like that. I mean, you never know what might happen. And I have 5 minutes, so yeah, some more questions.
Yeah. So I'm hearing you answer about different possible media that you're doing something with Angry Birds. So you know when you're doing it, you know when you're not doing it. Mm-hmm. Just want to know if you're looking just for, you're telling you're going for the most amount of fans that you can. Some points that means having no profit on that media. Do you have any rationale behind that, what you're looking for? Or you always look for some break even or profit in those, or sometimes you just invest?
I mean, we're not Apple, so we don't have the resources to have hobbies. So all of our businesses have to be insanely profitable, and they are. So you know, like right now, last year did like 90% profit, and now it's like 80. So it's I don't see why we would have to get into experiences that are not, first of all, great for our fans, but also profitable for us. So we are running a business, and you know, branching out into all the other media and all the other like areas, it doesn't mean that that we have to make a loss. And right now, the games very profitable, toys very profitable, not a problem. So I think that it's if you are a bigger company, a bigger organization, then you can probably afford to make losses, you know, like on games and then making money on movies or merchandise or what have you. But for us, we're not that kind of you know, point of our development that we could afford to have you know, hobbies. We have to make all our businesses very profitable. So that's kind of like how we. But that said, we are not overly concerned about monetization right now. It's really about getting the fans and keeping the fans, by offering, you know, great updates every 4 or 5 weeks. You know, keeping the experience fresh. So it's something that, again, it's not okay. Let's make a game, forget about it. But it's really keeping the fans coming back by providing you know, great new experiences with every update that we do on the game side, and you know, making new and exciting toys, better animations, all of that. So it's feel kind of like pretty strongly about that. So we're not kind of like getting into some of these businesses just for fun. So it's a business. 1 minute, one more question.
About spreading Angry Birds IP too thin? Is there that active worry or concern about the IP product?
We worry about everything every hour that we're awake. So of course, I mean, we're absolutely paranoid about, you know, like we track, you know, like all our games and like all the upcoming, you know, like competition, all that, like all the time. Okay, maybe not on an hourly basis, but you know, like we worry about that constantly, and it's like in everything we do. I think that let's say that it also we really try to live by what I said earlier, that it's about the fans and the brand. So if we do things like we did with Angry Birds Rio. Of course, it promotes Rio the movie, but it's a great experience. So it's not like, you know, some game and we just stick, you know, like a brand on it and it's like a bad experience for our fans. So if we, you know, kind of like stay true to ourselves, to our brand, and we really think about that, okay, we're offering something that, you know, we would, first of all, we talk about games that we would play ourselves. Then, you know, then we're already probably doing something right. And with all the products and all of that, that they're really things that we would buy ourselves. I mean, we're really, really serious about again, keeping that kind of quality and all of that. So of course, there's always then you have to worry about, okay, are we, you know, spreading ourselves too thin and all of that. Of course, with the growth and everything, it's not easy, but we're trying to do the right thing, and we'll see, you know, like how far that takes us. And you know, at least we're off to a good start. Yeah. So yeah, we're out of time. So thanks. And have a few toys. So.